Just like that, we back again. Episode 66 of the Fighting Combat Show. Fellas, how have you been? It's been a while since we've all came together and talked about what we like to do on our pastime. Kam Gee, how you doing?
Whew, good to be back.
Yeah, man, we're going to a new season. Season of life. I know y'all got school starting. LT got the new role.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know you got to be running around crazy this next 9 months.
It already started. So
yeah, man. It's been good over here though. We just had a fight today. So I'm trying to keep the energy up. I feel like that adrenaline high. We had an amateur fight today, and I feel myself kind of, if I just watch me as we move to this stream, man. But we got a dub today, so my God,
congratulations!
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Working hard, so fighting over at the Urban Police Athletic League and second day of competing, and we brought home a belt, so that feels good. When you training this hot gym, that's my home gym, and you expect to get victory, so it was a good feeling today. So and more boxing right here. So
you want to shout out your fighters?
My boy Cameron Hanna, man. It was our first fight together.
Luke Cameron.
Yeah, man. First fight together. Been training. I can't even think. Was it 4 or 5 months, something like that? But really like that feedback from his family. It was like, hey, man, I was way more technical than his last fight. You're doing a good job. So it always make you feel good when you hear that type of feedback. So we put on a boxing exhibition today, and man, happy for my guy. Worked hard.
Salute, Cameron.
Yeah,
how about
man.
you, LT? How you been?
Busy.
On the new gig.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the new gig.
Yeah.
New levels, new devils. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what it is.
Yeah, man.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Oh man, not complaining, man. You know what I'm saying? Set a goal, set out to do it, did what I needed to do to get to there, and now I'm just trying to do the best of my ability.
Absolutely. Now that you're there, this is where the work starts, and it's always nice to see upward trajectory, upward motion, moving forward as always, never backwards. And in my life, it's about to get a little busy because as I work in higher ed, and as of tomorrow, fall semester starts. So my team, myself, we are going to be a busy crew, but even with that will not stop me from stopping by via the internets and linking up with my friends to talk about what just happened this weekend. I would have talked about what happened last weekend, but it was a dead week when it came to the world of boxing or mixed martial arts. So we saved it for this week, and we will start to unfold and unpack what we just saw yesterday over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We had the young Moses Enrico Itauma versus Dillian, the body snatcher, Whyte. Fellas, this one is going to be looked at in the future as A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
It's one of those like I heard I was watching the live stream of Salute to Hollywood, but he said this reminded him of Tyson versus what's his name? I'm missing out, but anyways, the Tyson come out when he was a teenager and he beat one of the Spence brothers.
Spinks.
One of the Spinks. And it was all but fast when this happened. I'll let you guys start to unfold this. Go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
Definitely a coming out party. We seen flashes. We said, we knew he was the future of boxing, but this was the great measuring stick, and his time is now. He has officially entered the chat.
Yeah.
In the discussion.
Yep. That's what I thought before when you hit us in the chat. Like, I just thought this would be his coming out party and that he would be looking to get those rounds in, stepping up, and where you would think would be a step up in competition. But he made it look extremely easy. He looked extremely agile. The punches were placed magnificently and with bad intentions, even when they didn't seem to be thrown with a whole lot of effort. I mean, we're seeing a problem right here.
Yes.
The thing is, Dillian Whyte came in, had the best camp of his career. They said the best camp he had in like 10 years. He was down in weight. He was looking chiseled, looking focused, understood that what was in front of him. So when you get that challenge in front of you, you prepare in the right way, you do all those things, and you get washed like that. I mean, it just lets you know that you're dealing with a generational type of fighter right here. So
right.
The heavyweight division is on notice. I really see him posing a problem for any fighter in the division. Like, it doesn't matter where or who. It's all problems. It's all problems.
Yeah, I would like to say, I've been seeing on X or those type of spaces where people are talking about the age factor. The age factor. Itauma being 20 years old and Whyte being 37, and people talking about Whyte's mileage. And I will remind people the current champion who unified everything is 39, 38. So let's not talk about age in the heavyweight division. I think even heavyweights get better as they age. That grown man strength starts to kick in. We've seen
for sure
George Foreman, so it's not an excuse for Dillian Whyte. And people forget, yes, we did see Whyte getting knocked out after 119 seconds of the first round. Yes, we saw that. But let's not forget who the body snatcher is. One of the most devastating left hooks in the heavyweight division. He has gone through wars 2 times with Chisora. Wars, not these guys knocking each other's heads off. 2 times, I believe, with AJ. He has been through the rigor of fighting some of the most dangerous heavyweights and knocking them out. But what this young man came and did to a veteran, proven hard man is scary. And it's not only just scary for the way he finished him, but even the eye test. Seeing them standing close to each other, I thought Dillian was going to tower dude. But Moses is surprisingly big for, like, his body is still growing. He's 20. He is 20 years old. I don't know if he has done growing, I don't know if he's reached his full manhood.
Right.
It is scary to see a talent at that age in the heavyweight. That's who we thought Jared Anderson was. No, this is what we thought, the man child. We used to call Jared the big baby. The man child beating Jared Anderson. Yes, very young, 23, knocking out grown men. No, this is what we thought. This is what we thought, because I maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. I think he'll give anyone a problem. Even Bakoli, all the big bullies would struggle with this kid. They would because he looked like, Kam Gee and LT said, he looked very sharp. He's not wasting any punch. Every punch was accurate, sharp. So I don't know. This is scary. I've never seen this.
The difference between him and a lot of fighters in that sharpness is a lot of the sharp fighters look robotic.
Mm-hmm. He was very, very, a lot of wiggle, a lot of just flow. You can put on some jazz, some classical music, some reggae. It all just is there, right? It's just,
he's definitely not line dancing.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah.
Facts.
And I was scared for him on this fighting this. We had enough people in our group chat, Kam Gee. He was like, you were comfortable with him winning. Now I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, I couldn't see him win Dillian Whyte. I thought this was him being fed to the wolves. But geez, was I wrong?
I thought he would want to get the rounds. Me personally, some guys like, I need the work. that type of situation. But it was just, I mean, because the last few fights, right, of Mosey Itauma, first round TKO, second round TKO, first round TKO, second round TKO, second round TKO, first round TKO, first round TKO, first round TKO, first round TKO. I mean, come on, man. Like, he's 20 years old. There's no damage there, right?
So
there's no damage in 1 and 2 round fights.
So, question to the group: was anybody surprised about that first round win?
Yes, I was surprised.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I definitely not expecting that. I mean, but at the same time, it's like it's not far fetched because it's like, okay, he's shown us this, but now it's just validation
on the level of opponent. Yeah.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last 10 fights. Out of the last 10 fights, he's had no fight make it past the second round.
Yeah.
So in my eyes, I'm thinking he knows it's a step in competition. He want to show his skills. Hey, let me get some rounds. I need the work. But I mean, it was all business. It wasn't like he wasn't playing with you.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering who his next opponent is going to be, because Dillian Whyte's fought everybody. He beat Joseph Parker, right? Who's in contention for a belt. I mean, being there with Joshua, Povetkin. I mean,
and I think I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, this is a terrible matchup for Joshua.
Oh my God, he better stay away, man. He better go fight Jake Paul and get the bag.
Oh my goodness.
It's awful. He's there to be hit. I mean, man, it was devastating. The knockout in itself, I think it was set up. Dillian Whyte gets hurt to the body. He folds over at the waist. He kind of gets clipped in the back of the head. That's what initiated the sequence that led to the knockout.
Yeah.
So it was coming. It was coming at some point. It was early night. It's man. I just. There isn't a lot of fighters we've seen like this at this age, at this level.
This
from
fight,
the British side.
This fight left me shook, like how Kid Austin did. Oh boy, what's his name? Tevin Farmer. That first round.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I seeing? Like, I thought the veterans in both fights could have used that ring with a young deadly fighter, because young fighters, that's how their first round is not just to fill you out. I mean, that's a veteran move, but also there's some young fighters that approach it like that too. So I thought they're gonna fill each other out, and a veteran fighter knows how to stay out of range from them type of sequences, because he was punching him with level changing sequences. And I'm like, is this a heavyweight? Because you say he was light on his feet and just putting it on Whyte. All I was seeing Whyte doing was just like,
yes,
bro, where the punches coming from? Like, this is crazy. I'm like, bro, move out of this dude's like.
He couldn't.
We got to answer. So we said, who is the next opponent? Itauma is officially the WBO #1 contender. It looks like.
Wow.
Hrgovic is ranked second by the WBO.
That's a good fight. I think it's a good fight.
El Animal. Is it? What's it? How
El Animal.
El Animal.
Here's the thing. For the future of boxing, I don't want to see Hunter right now. I don't want to see Wardley right now, because just for the future of boxing, because the time was about to be dominant for a while.
Yeah. Fabio Wardley's been knocking stuff out too. That's a fight that's not going the distance.
I mean,
Michael Hunter, who's his only loss to? Martin Bakole, or Martin Bakole.
He beat Martin Bakole was beat by Hunter.
Hunter, I can't think of who his only loss was. Right, he's still one loss at this point, right?
Yeah.
Well, Fury is ranked first by the Ring.
We knew he didn't retire. That's why we didn't spend too much time on it.
He's had it like 3 times. We're tired.
He's waiting on the payday. the right money calls, he'll be, because every time you post a video, he's working out.
And then Jit Kabayal is WBC.
That's the one. So those are the people like right now. Like we used to. I'm switching my boogeyman right now. My prior boogeyman was Zhang. I switched him with Bakole, and then after Bakole, I switched Bakole with Hugovic. Now I may have to switch Hugovic with Kabayal because after, and this is a good. I will stick with it, but it's a good segue to the next fight that Hugovic had. But Kabayal is someone you want to stay away from. He's on a tear, and he has some names and heads on his resume. And I don't think any of them top 3, they don't want none of that problem with that German man. Like, he should be left alone. That's the boogeyman right there.
The good thing is we have Turkey in the current landscape of boxing. So these fights that would probably take years to materialize will get made in a quick order fashion.
Yeah,
they're not gonna sit on the shelf too long.
Is this the Dana White influence?
Man, I think so. I mean, this is the culture. It's like a paradigm shift in combat sports in general. So you gotta give Dana White kudos. You would like to see the fighters get compensated more, but I know we'll get to that at some point today. But it is that effect. You make the guy. You're making the fights happen because we had a power shift in the Floyd Money Mayweather era, which we did appreciate at the time. But seeing the aftermath of it it isn't appealing to us fans.
Right.
So we're on the other side of it now. We're going in new territory.
And with what's happening here, it brings more question to the debate that not debate, but conversation we had about developing heavyweight talent here in the United States. Because it's looking like Europe is always bringing somebody. Europe always has some. Like, I wish we had that same turnaround with talent level. We have talent. I know we have athlete talent, but man, now I'm looking at all these heavyweights from Europe. I'm like, why do they need to come this side of the world to box? Like,
they don't have to get on a plane not once.
You have Hugovic, you have Kabayal, you have all of them. Even the Adelays, everybody. Like, why come over here and deal with our just deluded selves here, thinking that we are the United States and heavyweight boxing lives here. No, it's been gone. And it's very sobering and awakening. It wakes me up to think like, man, boxing is boring if we don't have an American heavyweight in the mix, man. Like, I'm not being territorial, but I kind of miss even Deontay Wilder being in the names in there. Like, I miss Deontay. I mean, just not the time. Not I respect the time, but not necessarily the title. But just having a United States name. Even I miss Big Baby being brought into that mix.
I'm entertained by the current heavyweight landscape. There's a lot of skill, a lot of power. These guys are putting these guys away. Like, that's the heavyweight division that we knew, right?
But don't you get jealous when you see Europeans like
no, not at all.
American fighter,
not at all.
Heavyweight,
not even a little bit. We run the board across several divisions.
Yeah.
Just right now in this era, we're experiencing the Europeans, but let's not act like it wasn't unfamiliar because we had Lennox Lewis, we had Klitschko's. So we lived through that era, and it was just the fact that Lennox Lewis was over here training with
right. That's the thing is Americans
we kind of adopted him
because he was a crunk guy, but
he represented the UK and his Jamaican roots.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So this kind of isn't too far from what we've seen recently. Right, the Europeans have been very consistent, whereas American heavyweights have been up and down. Other divisions we've been very competitive at length. But even then, if you go down to say cruiser, right? Who's representing that cruiser? 175. You got David Benavidez, who is American with a heavy Mexican fan base and influence at 75. And then you got to go all the way down to the 68 to really start getting the 68, the 60, the 54, the 47, where you get the American. So it's just what it is. I think it makes it very entertaining, but the world is a lot smaller than it used to be. So we're able to catch these guys at the height of their career. And I think it's entertaining, man. It just elevates the sport, right? So now if you're a big guy in the United States, you know that I gotta be sharp. I gotta be in shape. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I mean, the talent is there. I saw a guy fight today from the fights out of Fort Worth by the way of the Virgin Islands. He used to train with Julian Jackson. I saw him today. He was the last fight today, heavyweight, young guy, right? Saw a lot of talent. We'll see what happens, but there are guys coming through the pipeline. It takes time.
Yeah, we'll see after the NFL preseason if some of those guys want to make career changes.
That's a nice thing. Yeah.
I always, every time I meet a football guy, I'm always like, hey, man, you think you want to put on the gloves? And oh, man, I'm like, man, you probably can make, you looking at practice squad, but you go make a check and being a journeyman heavyweight probably make you a few million a year.
Right.
So it's our talent pool is they're in different sports. They're playing football, they're playing basketball, think about a Ben Wallace putting on boxing gloves. Good Lord. Like, you tell me he's not a champion, So we have different, there's different ways that our talent gets dispersed across this landscape. So we'll be back.
Salute to the young king, Moses Enrico. I think his nickname is Enrico Itauma. And I see a lot of great things. Like whatever's been told about you is true. I believe now. I'm a believer, and yeah, it's been proven. So moving on to me personally, this was my favorite watch out of that, and we'll talk about the next fight. But this right here, I was thoroughly entertained by these two gentlemen, Nick Ball and Sam Goodman, and they were fighting for the WBA featherweight title. These two fighters, weirdly, and I'll start this off. Did both of you watch this fight?
Missed this one. Son was going ham during this fight for whatever reason.
I'm familiar with both of them, and I was looking forward to it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it.
It was my favorite fight for the whole card because it was two contradicting styles, but they were very effective on each other. So it was, dare I say, a game of round. Like each round was a game of ping pong. Like it's just you have it, like I'm having it, you having it, and I even had to write notes while I was watching this fight. Like, and of course, Nick Ball is from the UK, while Goodman is Australian. And if you notice, a lot of UK fighters, they're very, very technical. Technical sometimes to be robotic. Like, very seldom do you come across a Whitaker or a Prince Nassim. Like, a lot of them, you could see they're good fighters, great fighters, but they're strictly 1-2. And then to the body and all. It's I'm not saying predictable, but very technical. They're textbook. While Australian fighters are just hard-headed. They are rough, hard-headed, and tough. Technicality, not as like the UK fighters, but they have a little bit of grit to them. So imagine you have a Nick Ball who is known to be his nickname. Let me give you his nickname. His boxing nickname is Ball of Fire. So you already know his style, right? And then you have a Goodman who is Australian, hard guy, but also a very, very good defensive counter. And, I could handle, like he's a back foot fighter, but he gets touched a lot. So you have a pressure fighter who's Nick Ball, who's very technical, coming for a guy who's comfortable in that uncomfortable position of being attacked every time and just finding the best of a guy who's just running at him, like Kung Fu, right? Using his pressure against him. And it was so good of a fight that I was like, I think this dude got it. Goodman got this one. Ball got this one. But walking into this fight, Nick Ball was the champion. He was defending. He did win by unanimous decision, but I think the wording unanimous decision didn't really describe how good of a fight this was. It was very Sam Goodman put a very convincing display of great high-level fighting, even with the relentless forward pressing that Bo was putting on. But Goodman just showcased so much brilliance in just moving side to side and just countering and just, it was so good. And again, these are featherweight fighters, so their punches are so quick. Their jabs are just, you look at, I'm like, bro, I can't believe, like, I'm always amazed seeing featherweights and some of the lightweight fighters fighting and how quick their hands are. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I could talk about it even more, but I would need somebody to bounce off just on a something to just something contrary to what I saw. But I was very entertained with these two gentlemen. I'll be also honest. I've only seen Nick Ball fight. I've never seen Sam Goodman fight before. So I became a fan of Sam Goodman, even though he was not the victor in this case. I knew the WBA champion prior to Liverpool. So.
These are great matchups. The American fan base won't appreciate it so much as a headliner, but these are definitely good, like co-mains and good undercard. So I'll definitely look for it. Like when I see that on the undercard, I'm like, okay, we got two legit fighters on the undercard. So that makes it a good card.
Yeah, fight of the night for me, and that's just my subjective take. It could be debated. Another fight of the night is another heavyweight clash. We have the animal Philip Hagovich versus David Dillian. Dillian, would we call him now a veteran fighter? Is he 33, 30? How old is he? Let me see. Oh, he's only 22. Hagovich is 33. Fellas, let me save my opinion for last. Did both of you watch this?
Highlights.
Yeah, I saw this fight and I just believe that he was just outmatched. When the fight was made, I'm like, yeah, I do like Adelaide, but Hrgović, I know he just seems to have his eyes on a higher prize. And this was something that I feel like he goes to this fight understanding that I have to beat this guy if I want to get my shot that I feel like I deserve. And that's what I felt like we saw. There was that moment. I can't remember what round was it, 8 or 9.
8.
Adelaide got came back with some hard shots.
Yeah.
Then he was put on the ground. I don't know, was it before that? But it was just a little bit overmatched. And then you start to kind of look at Adelaide's career and potential matchups, and he's at that cusp of like that. Right at that elite level, maybe just below it. Maybe just below it.
Do we know who trains Adelaide? I mean,
not sure.
He might be one of those guys where it's just he needs to save it for the back end, especially like in a matchup like this. Just try to bring him into deep waters and really pour it on at the end.
He's got to get more technical though, like using the ring and using the jab and trying to point guys to, like you said, bring them into some deep waters. But at that point of his career, that's can you reinvent yourself to that style? That style. You see the physique, you see the stature. He looks the part when you see him.
Yeah.
So
he's got the tools too. Like
strong.
No disrespect to whoever's, but I just maybe a little. I don't know what the game planning is, or maybe he's just strong head. Maybe he's strong headed and don't listen.
Yeah.
Watching see that in this game.
Watching this fight, and I think I shared it in the chat. In my mind, I thought Hagovich was going to dog walk Adelaide. Because if you've seen Hrgovic's resume and what he's been doing to fighters, he's a boogeyman. He is a scary, scary guy to fight. And I don't know how tall he stands. I think he may stand like a 6'6".
I think I'm like a 6'6" guy.
He's an Olympian dominant figure who most of your number one contenders in any belt on any of those belts don't want to fight this guy. They've been pointing him and Bakolia as the most avoided persons or people in the heavyweight. But what David did for me, he showed me that this guy was a human being. Although David got a whooping, David got beat. Like, it was convincing. It was outclassed, but there was something that David had was heart. That even for him to put that barrage in the 8th round, I thought Hrgovic would touch you one time and you're done. Hrgovic is a very precise hitter. He reminds me of Vladimir Klitschko. Very precise, does not waste energy, and he hits hard. What David showed me was bullies don't like getting bullied. he hit David with some of his best shots. Yes, he was getting points, but David's hard head. Yeah, he got dropped down. He got knocked down in the third, or I can't remember which. I think it was the third. Wait, and David was putting out his tongue. It was hilarious. He got knocked down while taunting dude. And after he got knocked down, I think that fight or flight hit David. Is like, yo, he is not a joke. So David said, using the jab more, moving, and I was like, oh, Hrgovic is human. Oh, Hrgovic hit this dude with his best. Oh, David is looking like, okay. But one thing I give Hrgovic is that boy ate them combinations from David and still didn't. He was like I have to pull that up just for the fun of how
take a licking and keep on ticking.
Yeah, man.
But he was like a robot.
He was one shot from being out of there.
Yes, and dude was making it rain on him, and he did not stop his pressure. And the thing is, with that, I now see why, like heavyweights are special people. Like, how do you have a granite or a titanium or steel chin like that? And I couldn't believe it, because David Ellery is not no slouch with his punches. And anyways, I say this to say, yes, David lost, but he still won something for me. I saw that he did cut dude. Dude had a cut on his, I think, his left eye. Still kept on going. Hrgovic, bro, you're scary. You're an animal. You're scary. But I don't know. I need to see more of you with these type of fighters that are just stubborn to get out. If you're gonna still be the bully and just beat on people, like if somebody hits you back with some good ones, how are you gonna react? Because I could have given David maybe 9 and 10, but he was the first early rounds. David was being outclassed and just dog walked until that fight or flight kicked in, and dude was like fighting for his life, and Hrgovic didn't want none of that. So interesting. He could have knocked out Hrgovic actually with that barrage.
It was one shot at that last left hook. If that lands, oh my goodness.
So even if they call Hrgovic, quote unquote, the boogeyman of the division, what makes sense for Hrgovic right now? You have been in, quote unquote, an upcoming heavyweight star in David from the UK. What's next for you? Because I don't know if Usyk wants that fight.
But I don't think he gets that fight either, though.
Yeah, Usyk should fight Parker. Parker deserves a shot at Usyk. Yeah. And if we're trusting the current rankings, and I don't know that maybe they get updated on Monday, but Hrgovic and Itauma for the WBO number one contender looks like. And so then we have to see what are what promotional company, who's with who, and how can we make it happen. But those guys the guys across the pond seem to know how to get things done. So
yeah, they not wasting a whole lot of time.
I like that fight. Itauma versus Hrgovic. I like that. That is perfect.
Right now, they got a Hrgovic ranked the 10th ranked heavyweight via box rec, so not any of the sanctioning bodies, but right there at 11 and 12, you got Michael Hunter and Martin McCauley, and then you got the FA Jagua at 13. So, kind of peeping down that list, Derek Chisora at 14, and our guy Richard Torres, who we thought was an undersized heavyweight. And as you move up, you got some guys, Fabio Wardley, McCauley, Parker, IJ Caballero. So, there's a few fights we made, but I'm imagining that once these get updated, we'll see Mr. Itauma. Oh, right now they got him right behind Zhang at 19.
Yeah.
So this is via box rec though. Box rec.
And we've covered this. I don't know, a while back. Let me make sure my notes are right here. We've covered. No, we've not. But I have watched Hrgovic lose before. To Triple D, but if anything, I would want to see him get it back in blood. This Triple D is still a name, I don't know. Daniel Dubois versus Hrgovic.
Let's get some new matchups.
I think they fought before.
He lost. Hrgovic got beat by TKO.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it's time for some new people to get a shot. And Dubois be around, He might catch him. They might catch him on the, Dubois coming back up and Hrgovic coming down. But
all right, let's talk about our next fight on that card. And this one is unique. How many times do you see Japanese fighters fighting on a Riyadh season or a ring?
Well, I think Turkey has a relationship with this guy and his brother.
That's what I'm thinking. Like he's the first.
Right. That's the same last name. I think they're. I think he was in the corner or. He did remember the fights that were in New York Times Square. Yes. Not this guy, but I believe that's his brother.
Asumi? Yes.
Yeah. So you got a couple, because when you look boxer, there's a couple of guys that come up with the same last name.
Yeah. And I was looking at his record. He looks like he's a fairly new professional fighter, age 25. Hayato Tatsumi. He was fighting Curious. I don't want to say his last name because I don't want to cuss. I'll call him Ashfaq. Okay, I'll say it. I would say Qs. Qs is a European UK fighter. I don't know if it's of Arab descent, former Olympian, so he comes with a pedigree, Olympic fighter, great amateur, and then Tsumi is also he has a standout Japanese amateur career. Where they have a manufacturing machine over there in Japan for all these featherweight fighters, bro. Talking about how much talent level they have out there that they even, because I always thought Japanese fighters love top ranking, but anyways, I digress. Tatsumi won by TKO, and it was a convincing TKO. I watched this. He made Kios. I can't say that last name. I don't know if I will get flagged. Am I saying it right? Am I reading it right, fellas?
It might be. It might be silent too, so it might be just Ashfaq.
Ashfaq. Okay, I don't want to say the Q. All right.
Says he was born in Leeds though, so
he's a UK guy. He's a UK guy. Yeah, former Olympian. I saw this fight and I was not convinced by the British Olympian fighter, man. Ashfaq was not looking like the guy who has the Olympic pedigree, because my 9-0 guy came in from Japan straight out of the plane and made him bow in the third. And it was a very convincing TKO. It looked like dude didn't want to continue, and it's just one of those where you feel like Turkey's onto something, and there's a reason why he has chosen this guy. And as an elite marketing guy, Turkey he's reaching all regions.
That's what I was thinking.
It's no way just ignoring that region when you're having a manufacturing machine. I don't want to say that word, manufacturing. You have a whole whole. Is that right?
It's a system.
There's you could say something different that would be way more offensive.
I want to use industrialization with Asian.
Unless you're trying to say that they're manufacturing sneakers, like
no. But they have a conveyor belt of talent, bro. Like it's coming. There's so many fighters on that top ranking Japanese card that I don't even know that have belts, and I'm like, who?
You got
like they are so talented in Japan that it's a generation that I've not seen ever.
Since we going down this road, the number one boxing gym is called the Sweatshop.
Damn. I'm
trying to stay away from industrial jokes or euphemism, but just from that, and you're right. I think he does have a brother. Tatsumi has a brother. So Hayato, it's deep, and they both all fighting under the Riyadh season. Was this Riyadh season or was this just Ring? But I saw it was Ring that was posting stuff up, but either or, it's under Taki El Hashik. He is spreading out his reach, which is very smart. He has the American, he has the British. I don't think there was an American fighter on this card, but he knows how to.
Raymond Ford.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yes, he had Raymond Ford fighting lightweight. Yes. So I think that's very strategic. Having a young fighter, 25 years old, new professional, very sound amateur career coming into your in your stands and being part of your stable. So that's nice. I like to see that. Moving on to who you said, Raymond Ford, the Savage.
So here's something interesting too. This free boxing on the internet. I think Matchroom on their YouTube channel had this on for free. So
this was on YouTube, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There was a switch over at some point.
Exactly.
Saturday. Yeah. This undercard started, I think, 11 noon our time, something like that. Yeah, I loved it. So Raymond Ford, I thought he looked kind of big this fight. I don't know about y'all. He looked kind of like very stout than I can remember him. I'm not sure unless I'm misremembering his stature going into fights.
Yeah, he's a lightweight guy.
Yeah, 130, but he looks, very physically imposing. Thought that a lot of the rounds were close in this fight. Didn't have eyes on the fight round by round, but I had all the fights on. It was matter if I was in front of the screen, but thought it was a close fight from what I saw. Mm-hmm. So actually, when I heard the unanimous decision, I was like, oh, okay. I thought it might have been a situation where the cards might have been split.
Yeah, I didn't know how young he was. He's only 26. Fighting a very well-established super, they call him the El Super, Abraham Nova, El Super, very flamboyant. Did you see his walk-in? I was watching his highlights. I'm like, this guy is that guy. He came out, the walk-in, very high energy. But we're talking about how good this Ford guy is. Raymond Ford he went in and did a clinic, man. He put in work. Well-deserved unanimous decision. In that division, where do you see him? Who do you see him fighting next? What does he stack up to, like a Navarrete? Does he stack up to, I don't know, if a Shakur? Does Shakur still fight at lightweight?
Well, I'm wondering if he would get a chance to fight was it O'Shea Foster? Do you still have a belt?
I like that.
So this is a common opponent, actually. So he fought Nova. I think we talked about that fight.
This is
El Supernova. Supernova.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check before it might be the same camp. He is a Jersey guy.
Oh yeah, with Shakur.
So wait, let's see.
Yes, we covered him that one time when we covered Raymond. Yeah,
2014.
And
he has a loss to Nick Ball in Riyadh.
We covered that with Nick Ball, and that's the fight that Shakur came was ringside next to him. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess with money,
So there's a potential rematch
with Nick Ball. I'll run it. I like Nick Ball, so I would like to see that. I would like to see that fight, that potential rematch at lightweight. So moving on, that was a quick coverage because there's also a big marquee UFC 119 that we want to kind of unfold and talk about. This marquee was Duplessis versus Chimaev. Chimaev, for those people that do not know the UFC nuance, Chimaev is one of the most avoided fighters in the UFC. He's still undefeated, but this was his first time having a chance to fight for a championship. Chimaev is of Sweden citizenship, but his what's that place called? Kazakhstan, or Dagestan. I think he's of Dagestani descent. Duplessis, also known as DDP, Dricus Duplessis, is South African. As you remember, he notoriously was the guy that was beefing with Izzy, calling Izzy, when I say Izzy, that's Israel Adesanya, as not the real African, because Duplessis actually lives in South Africa while Izzy lives in New Zealand. And the hilarious part of that is Duplessis is an African white man. Calling anyways, but there was a lot of satiric value in their fight, and it did boil up into some other things outside the UFC, but in fighting. But again, when the fight happened, DDP won Izzy very convincingly, and then now we're talking about him defending his belt against Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev, if you remember, we showed what he did to his opponent, Whitaker, Bobby Knuckles. He broke his jaw from like a choke. The amount of power you must have and generate within that close proximity to crack a grown man's jaw is nasty. And there were pictures going around the internet showing the X-ray of Robert Whitaker's jaw. That's who Dricus Duplessis is fighting against. So let's get into the particulars. As you know, he is not the champ anymore because Khamzat Chimaev won unanimously. He had pressure on pressure, piles on pressure onto Duplessis. I would like to say, if you're not a UFC regular person that understands the nuance of fighting, understands the way the dance goes in the UFC, this was a boring fight because these two styles just neutralize each other, and it's like seeing Shakur Stevens versus Floyd Mayweather. If you do not know the nuance of boxing, you're going to get your pillow and you're going to say, I'll wake up and read the results on ESPN. That's what it was. It was a very heavy grappling, takedown based fight. Takedown do lead to scored points. Pressure applied when you're grappling does. How many times you're on your back, all that stuff amounted to that unanimous decision. If you are looking for knuckles and people throwing them things, nah, this was not the fight for you. You're looking for leg kicks, nah, this was not the fight for you. This was just ragging each other and rolling. And Khamzat did win that. And if anybody wants to add to this, that was my take on this one from my viewing. LT, did you watch this?
Nah, man, I was doing errands. Unfortunately, I didn't catch this one.
Yeah.
Saw the weigh-in face-off. Dana White looked a little uncomfortable.
Yep. And this was at which is weird. The middleweight. This was for the middleweight title in UFC middleweight. That's 185, not boxing middleweight, but UFC middleweight. Moving on. unless you guys want to add on to the championship talk. Want to talk about the co-main event. Okay, moving on. Co-main event, we have Leon the Miracle Murphy versus Aaron Pico. This one now is where you start to see the casual having fun, because there was a knockout. It was a spinning elbow that highlighted the night in a first round knockout. The Miracle Murphy did a beautiful spinning elbow in spectacular fashion and took out the Aaron Pico. If you know Aaron Pico, for all you UFC watchers, or MMA watchers, he was the guy running Bellator. He was the guy kicking A in Bellator, and it's some weird reason all our Bellator fighters, besides the next guy that we'll talk about here in the next few recaps that we're about to talk about, MVP, has kind of cracked the UFC and cracked the code of the UFC, because a lot of people that transition to the UFC find it very different because of the level of talent in the UFC and surviving in that UFC jungle. Aaron Pico is not the scary boogeyman that he was in Bellator in the UFC. So he got cracked in the first round. Respect to the Miracle Murphy. Moving on to another entertaining fight for the casual. We'll talk about Carlos Pretz versus Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. And this was at this is a welterweight bout. As you know, Pretz delivered a stunning spinning elbow.
Man, that was crazy.
And this was in the it was in the first round too, and this was his second in a row performance of Fight of the Night as he's featured. So salute to you, Carlos Pretz. And let's talk about what we wanted to talk about mainly for those people that love entertainment. What I'd want to talk about mainly about this UFC is the return of Michael Venom Page. Box office. He was not fighting a slouch. He was fighting Jared Cannonier. If anybody knows who that is, that's a monster. From a heavyweight, he has gone down in weight. He's fighting at they were fighting at welterweight. So that's 185. I tell you, Michael Venom Page is blockbuster.
Oh yeah.
I want to share. I won't even share it, but he had 2 knockdowns that were typical Michael Venom Page style, taunting, dancing, telling him stand up, all sorts of stuff. He's transitioned to the UFC has been amazing from Bellator. He has been on a tear. Yes, he lost, I think, his first ever UFC fight, but ever since he bounced back, he's been on a winning streak. I think this is his second win in a row. He's not getting young. He's 38. Again, let's also
I'm in a tooth, boy, for that fight game.
And then also like Jared Cannonier is not young too. He's not no spring chicken. He's 41. But
it's a name. It's a legend in the sport.
It's a legend. It's a legend. And he did that on that stage. Yeah, Dana White is watching, as you guys say. People like Dana White and Turkey, they don't care about your record. They just want to entertain the fans. So as the fans get motion, UFC may be getting back their audience, because like I'll tell you this, Izzy, a Venom Page, regardless of their record, they're needed in this sport. These guys are box office, they entertain, and they're elite at what they do. So respect to MVP. I enjoyed everything that you brought forth during this fight. And then summing up UFC 319, we'll talk about Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Tim Elliott did win that match in the second round with a guillotine choke. As you know, Tim Elliott coming up 21 wins, 13 losses. He's also a veteran, 38 years, and 1 draw, while Kai, the younger, in quote unquote, because he's 30. 21 wins and 5 losses. Was choked, caught with a choke to submit him in the second round, a guillotine choke. But that was my roundup of UFC 119 that happened in Shawtown, Chicago in the United Center. Fellas, do you guys want to add to that, or should we move on?
Nope. Great stuff.
All right. Well, we're still on the UFC, and let's strike while the iron is hot. No pun intended. We have a hot topic of what the hell just happened while we were sleeping. Somebody went and gangstered themselves into a deal, and that's the UFC.
7 Billy.
7 Billy with CBS and Paramount, all under the same conglomerate. But wow.
yeah, that's what I said.
That was my first reaction. Wow.
Holy.
This is not selling the company. This is just a partnership of you show your stuff on my platform. I want to know the intricate details of the deal, how long it is, how long is this deal for? The tenure of the deal will kind of paint a better picture. What are the deliverables for the deal for you to get that 7 billion? What are the those things, the little targets, and I want to know those because that may reduce that 7 billion to like 1 or less if you don't meet those marks, whether it's target, audience count and whatever they do with these corporations. But 7 billion, fellas, the floor is open.
Hey, that's the landscape of the fight game is changing. People want to see it. They understand people are using various methods to obtain and watch these fight scenes. Like, you might as well give the people what they want. They want the access, right? The old fight games, they didn't have these barriers at the cost. You're spending thousands of dollars a year to watch your favorite fighters, and you kind of can feel a little priced out by some of them. So, I think this is great for the UFC, and I think we'll see something similar take form in the boxing landscape as well. So very, very happy to see it. I think this just gives better access. The networks become the ambassador for the sport. You'll get guys that would not normally see a fight, can watch a fight, may be inspired. It may be a coach, official, judge, fighter, promoter, and that's how you continue to grow your sport. So kudos to Dana White and doing his thing, man. That's big time.
And does Dana White? That's how Dana White sold the UFC. He's just, well,
he's the face, and he's one out in front. So I feel like he can get the credit, but
yeah. LT, you want to add to this about this play?
No, like sometimes you sell, and like Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks, but
a share.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, So it's how business works. Not surprised, I'm not surprised. Like,
yeah. and the residual effects of this. One thing I want to just kind of like focus on here, and this is us moving away from the fight world to more of the accounting space or the finance space, is when you put out a PR like this, how does it affect player contract negotiations moving forward? Because they know they are the product. That's one. Most companies, when they make these blockbusters type of things, figures are not put out there. But clearly this was PR'd by the UFC team and cleared. Or else it will not be on these big platforms. Second thing here, we are using the UFC as a pilot test because I guarantee you 100% Turkey is going to do this, or whoever is in that scope. They're moving away from regular broadcast into the streaming world is taking over everything. We've seen that with music concerts to Jake Paul. I hate to say Jake Paul was a pioneer with that Mike Tyson thing, and how that has been working, and that model of the streaming. Yes, but again, let me pull back. Jake Paul is not the model. The Zone is streaming, but anyways, the Zone we've streamed before with the Zone app, ESPN Plus. But anyways, the streaming model with these different platforms, moving away from the whole pay-per-view, pay with your, like is how that's changing. So I have two things that I brought up: player negotiation, or I say player fighter negotiation terms when they know you're getting $7 billion off my product, off the sweat and my bruised eye, to how that's going to look like for other sports that share the same model, which is boxing and performance, anything, live shows and all that stuff. Like I could see Beyonce selling her rights to Netflix for like 360 meta or whatever to watch it with like this is groundbreaking on a high level that is crazy. So anyways, I'm just opening another door of conversation from a player side, fighter side. Is the UFC shooting themselves in the foot, telling the world how much they're making?
This is uncommon. I think the NFL, NBA, they announce their.
They say they've strike a deal, but they don't put the money out there because we don't know.
I don't. I think
NBA back in the day. Do we know how much?
Yeah, I think NBC with the NBA. I think they did broadcast that. I think it's pretty standard for the leagues to announce what's happening.
And in the leagues, the thing with the leagues is there's collective bargaining, so they kind of have to.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Right, they have to announce that so that there's when you go to the table to talk about contracts and the dealings of the league, that those things will be discussed. They have to be public information.
Sure.
Okay. But I think it's a good deal. I mean, we haven't seen it. I mean, it's a contract. Contracts expire. Maybe the fighters rebel against it. Maybe the UFC doesn't like it. Maybe CBS doesn't like it. Maybe the fans don't like it. We don't know. But right now, I think a lot of people are excited for what it could be. Because right now, like Turkey said in the past, and I think these leagues understand that the pay-per-view model has its barriers and its challenges, and they're looking for ways to solve that. So.
And then my last thing I'm going to add to this hot pot of cooking that we're doing. Do you think for the fans, and now this is fan and fighter relationship, do you think this new model is going to create more stars because of the ready accessibility and less of a hindrance by the paywall? Now you get to see fans everywhere. CBS is another mean advertising machine, because CBS also has Champions League soccer and all that stuff that they do. They plaster everything everywhere. Do you think stars are now going to be made easier, or CBS cannot do more than what ESPN was doing prior?
This is what I will say. CBS did introduce me to Sean Porter and Keith Thurman, or at least they put on one of the best boxing matches on cable in the last 50 years. So that did happen. So the potential for that is there. The landscape, though, cable, rabbit ears, like who still has that? Potential's there, though. I mean,
Yeah. Hey, but all in all, salute to the people of the UFC conglomerate that are making this happen. For the normal day-to-day person that man, it's been rough times out there, especially with inflation and all sorts of stuff. But we still love our sports. That's our mental health break is just watching sports, and it's one of our one of those things that we need. And if you're giving it to us for free and taking away the burden of 60 $69.99 or $80 like thank you for that. And hey, if everybody wins, we all win. So you get your $7 billion, we watch our free sports.
Hey, get that advertisers gonna be flying. It's gonna be ads in the corner. They're gonna be holographs. They're gonna be wearing patches on the shoulders.
They'll be.
It's gonna be insane. Like you're gonna be buying stuff you never thought about buying.
They'll probably have like a series on Paramount on their mouthpieces, like the new Ozark season 1. They're gonna brand out everything. It's gonna be crazy. That ring is gonna look like a NASCAR. Like what the heck? It's gonna be crazy. But on a much more somebody change the energy on this. It's crazy.
I like how you did that, man. I guess.
Okay. So, if you've been in the boxing space, we've all heard about the the tragedies that happened in Japan. The 2 fighters that passed away post-fight, right?
Same card.
Oh my gosh.
2 separate bouts. Yep, same card. Japan has been. It just laid the hammer down on saying things that need to be done in order for you to fight. So things that they're putting the hammer down on is things like hydration testing, mandatory weighing, all sorts of stuff like that. Shortening title fights from 12 to 10 rounds. It's a whole list, and I don't want to go and break it down. If you have the internet, you could go Google, but their Japanese Boxing Association has come down with a group of things that may not be of the traditional, fighting association standard traditional ways of applying yourself throughout these fights, both pre-fight and in fights. So they're cracking down on a lot of things, and they're serious about the fighters' well-being. This is going to be monumental, fellas.
Ooh, well, we did just transition from UFC back to boxing. And I did my concussion training a few weeks ago, and the expert, she said that the UFC actually has one of the most rigorous programs as it pertains to coming back to the sport or even allowing you to compete. So we always see the cancellations beforehand, and that's just one of the things or one of the reasons or factors that go into why an MMA match may be canceled by the UFC. So this could be a similar situation where they might, trade practices, might adopt certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the article that came out was talking about their sparring limitations, rehydration, ambulances that are readily available, and it kind of makes you wonder why these things weren't already in place, and why does it keep happening in Japan? Because I feel like we've heard this story a few times coming from the Japanese fighters. So there's something systematically that's going on. I do know I never feel comfortable with a fighter draining himself completely to make that weight. As you drain the body, the brain has less fluid, the brain bleeds come more susceptible as you are adjusting to a new weight, and then you go compete and your body has not really recovered from the weight cut. Right. So in the old days, guys, they would weigh in same day, That's why I think you had guys a little smaller, right? You didn't have the weight bullying and things like that. But it's never want to see it, hear about it. It's one of those things that it just is one of those sour spots in the sport, and you got guys going out here and laying their life on the line for this in the sake of entertainment and them living their dreams. So there's something definitely going on that Japanese side of things. Not to say it doesn't happen anywhere else, but you definitely want to take a hard look. And they're being very, I guess, trying to be, they're reacting to their recent history, and they're trying to make some changes. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't hear about this again.
Yeah. Also, like when you make sudden changes and mandates to like something that fighters have been doing since they were like kids, right? And how does that affect the fighter too in their preparation when they're like, oh, there are no rules now, or this is fighters have to be proactive off season. They have to be in shape. Like you can't just like, oh, when is my fight? Now I'm gonna, like phasing yourself, because one early episode, I believe, Kam Gee, you told us how fighters phase their way into shape throughout camp, right? That may change because of this. Fighters that walk around, you said weight bullies, right? Fighters, and I don't want to talk about David Haney, we've hit him, but fighters that walk around at 190, 180 and then having to go down to like a 35, 40, like maybe that will change, because if you have these hard mandates and things that you're doing while you're sanctioning, it's not to make a fighter that's been doing this their whole life, fighting against their own genetics, because genetically their bone, like their body mass is not supposed to be that little. They do that just to get a competitive, I don't want to say competitive advantage, but that's what they do. They were good at that, and maybe they're growing, and I don't want to jump on David Haney again, but he's been doing that since he was 16. So he's comfortable at saying weight, right? And as he got older, he still stayed at that weight, but he's not growing with his actual size because he's a big dude. Haney's a big dude in real life. Like, he's not really, even when he was meeting with Norman, he was bigger than Norman. I'm looking at them, I'm like, yo, you're bigger than Norman. Like, so with them type of fighters, like, if they ever did that in the United States, I don't know if it's to save them. How will it affect them? Maybe it will make them a better fighter. They won't be as, I want to say malnourished. They won't be as drained. They won't be as, those things. Like, maybe we'll see a better fighter. I don't know. Or maybe we'll see a worse fighter because now you have to fight fairly. I don't want to talk about only David Haney, but we could also say that about Lamont Roach. The streets say he's a bigger guy than he fights, and there's a reason why Tank doesn't want to fight him again. That's another story for now. We have talked about that a little bit, but Lamont Roach, people that know him in Baltimore say he walks at a different weight. Like, he's actually a big, strong dude. So them type of stories, I don't know what it would look like with them type of fighters. But
I think, to me, the concern is American fighters going overseas, because Japan is hot right now. What does that look like? Do the rules apply to American fighters going overseas, and how do they adapt to it? And then contract negotiations, will the country of Japan allow their fighters to come over here, and how do they enforce it across international waters? So these are.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, these are interesting waters to navigate.
Right. Because Lifetime, when you compete outside of their borders, now you fall under, like, you can fight in California, and then they have their own commission, but Florida has their own commission. If they're not liking what they heard from a previous commission, that state or country could rule, against you fighting or something like that. Let's say you fight in Texas and you have a knockout, and your next fight was in 3 months in Japan, they may not allow you to fight there, right? So you might run into that type of situation.
Right.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. Whereas you could have fought in Oklahoma, 60 days after.
Right.
Oklahoma, Arkansas, probably Kansas. Like
Illinois, those are Iowa. Those states will let you fight. Indiana, I heard some things about Indiana, so yeah, they'll let you get out there.
You're very right. It's very jurisdiction centric, right? As you could see, like in Texas, if you had a concussion or you were deemed to be under a concussive state, you're kind of put on timeout. And same thing happens for in the UFC. You have to meet certain things. I don't know what the limitations are, but I know there's fingers, there's eye. You have to have certain digits to fight in the UFC. But that's why they're fighting in Abu Dhabi, where the jurisdiction is a little bit lenient. Where Shara, the fighter with one eye, the guy they call the Pirate, he can't fight in the United States. He can't fight in Vegas. Vegas won't sanction that. They won't let that happen. They won't put that on their jacket, because if that dude passes away in the ring in Vegas, I don't know what legalities could be taken on that state for allowing that sanction. So it's very legal. There's so many legal things, even fingers. If you're a fighter what's his name? If your digits are not 10, I don't know. There are different rules for different things, so absolutely. And it's you're absolutely right. It's very regional. I don't know. And that's the thing is I don't know any of the rules and the recommendations and what's needed requirements, but it's interesting. I would like to research on that.
I mean, they even talked about lowering championship fights from 12 rounds to 10 rounds.
Yep.
So,
yep. They talked about that. They also added they had some interesting stuff that I just was like, how does this even pertain to boxing? They talked about emergency medical support, hydration testing, mandatory weight class move after a big rehydration or big rehydrations. I'm just reading a quick list here. Shortening fights from 12 to 10. But it's all on the articles that I put together. But hopefully it works. But if it does what it's supposed to do, I guarantee you it's gonna move over stateside. We've had a few people dying post fights, so it's definitely gonna happen. If it works in Japan and it lowers that type of case of fatal happenings inside post a fight, it's gonna happen out here. Guarantee you. Just for time's sake, let's talk about our man Bivol, man.
Yeah.
He had a procedure.
Spinal.
Mike Tyson voice.
Spinal.
It broke my back. Spinal.
Hey.
LT, you put this on the docket.
Yeah, man.
This.
So we're anticipating the trilogy between Bivol and Beterbiev, and Beterbiev recently came out and said, I can't put my career on hold. I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to do things, I'm going to move at my own schedule. And that post prompted the announcement from Bivol, because everybody started asking questions. So now there's the transparency. Bivol announced that he had back surgery. So this opens us up to the possibility of a Benavidez and Beterbiev matchup. Out of all the times that Benavidez has been frozen out, it finally looks like there might be a crack in the door for him to sneak into. He's currently slated to fight Anthony Yarde, but his brother Jose has hinted that it might not happen for whatever reasons. So this is an interesting one.
I think it's a great matchup. It's well, let me go back to the surgery. The fact that he needed a back surgery and was competing at a high level is insane, right? Didn't want it to be an excuse or something that came up later, so he didn't have a fight. It's inactive right now. Go ahead and get the back surgery. But your back is your back. Like it's, I don't know. There's no way to know that we'll get the best version of him coming back, right? Once you start doing things to the back. I don't know if we got any particular details on what it was, but it's your back. It's spinal. Like it's serious. Going to the potential matchup, Benavidez versus Beterbiev, I think it's a great matchup because these guys are throwback type of guys. No excuses. You know, gonna be in shape, gonna train hard. We will see action, and it's interesting style matchup too. So, unfortunate that Bivol had to get his back worked on, but hopefully he's back to full strength. It's one of those things where Benavidez can really show who he is, because I think Beterbiev is just past his prime at this point. We know he's strong as an ox. With hand speed, foot speed just won't be there, but I do know Benavidez will be there to be hit. So stylistically, you know, this is one of those fights where you see a back-to-back, and you got a Bivol, you know, fighting other guys in 175. So if you get a Benavidez versus Beterbiev matchup, I don't expect just a one fight situation, unless Beterbiev just gets bored and decides to retire. That's the only thing. He does not look like somebody that's slowing down. Like, I mean, man, the guy's 40, 41 years old. I mean, yeah, he's a tank.
Ditto. All of that. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So we'll see, man. But
I you know, like when I talk about Bivol and Benavidez and Beterbiev, I talk about when I just categorically separate them with everybody else.
Yeah.
Meaning these are unique war machines. They come from where they come from, unique war machines. Even Canelo could not crack the code of one of them. So unique war machines. Bringing David Benavidez to that, from what David Benavidez has been put on for the last 3 fights, where he's not been able to even knock down any of his opponents. He's been outboxing them. He's been out. He's now getting to his, because he's a big guy. He's tall. He's rangy. I do want to see him fight, because I know David is David. David is gonna put it all on the line. But do I want? Because I think I want him to spank Yacht right now. Him fighting Beterbiev, who has only had one guy last a full fight with him, was Bivol, is scary for me, man. Because I'm a David fan. I want, and I'm not trying to age out Beterbiev before fighting him. I'm not trying to have David Benavidez do the Floyd Mayweather on Pacquiao, but I would suggest, yeah, do that. Why not? Why not? Let that guy get up in age and then get that big knockout win against a monster, rather than fight him now, because that last fight after Beterbiev looked really good, and he looked even better in the championship rounds. I was like, he's not even slowing down for an older guy. So that's a scary fight for a David Benavidez to take. Scary. And hey, if he takes it, salute. But I don't see it going his way. I can't see it. In my mind,
it may be dangerous, not scary.
Yeah,
Benavidez ain't scared of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. These guys
dangerous.
But we've seen him with fighters like Morrow. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He's not gonna get touched he's not gonna put himself in a compromising, like he steps on the gas, but he's not a dummy. He's not a crash out type of fighter. Yes, he's not. But damn, Arthur Beterbiev is something that I've never seen. And Bivol is a mild version of Arthur Beterbiev. And Bivol cracked Canelo, was just robotically beating Canelo with a 1-2 stiff jab. And Canelo looked like he ran out of options. And I want to see Canelo.
8 punch combinations.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why I'm like, these two guys, like Beterbiev and Bivol, should fight each other till the end, because they're just the best dancing partners with each other. with other fighters, I'm like, I don't see it. Like like they had announced what's the guy we talk about all the time, the Congolese Canadian fighter, in the cruiserweight, in Billy. Remember when they announced in Billy Bivol at one time, they were like trying to put that, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. I want to see none of them dudes fight. Bivol's gonna whoop that. I don't care how much in Billy has improved. I cannot see that guy being beaten like just like that. It's just,
but these are pro fighters. They get paid to get in that ring and fight. So you know, and Billy's still unblemished, I believe.
He's undefeated.
But man, these are fights. Well, he's fighting at 68.
68, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's moved up to 75. But yeah, man, there's fights we made in this current landscape. Like I mentioned earlier, these guys won't be able to run from each other, which is great. Right? We won't get the 5-year holdout of a fight. You know, we talk about Charlos and Spence and Keith Thurman, and you know, we're not running into those situations anymore, which is great. Which is great for the sport.
Yeah. How much hungry are you right now for still? And I want to bring this up again: Canelo versus Benavidez. I still think that's the one to me. You're not hungry for that.
The appetite's there. I mean, but it's not on the shelf. Like it's not on the menu. So, you know, it's like, you know, when they're bringing the big rib back.
Uncle Turkey, man, make it happen. That's it. Make it happen. But and quick recovery to Bivol. Back surgery. I don't know what the procedure was, but hopefully he's back in the square circle soon. Fights coming up this August 22nd. We have most valuable promotion, and we have a fight in Orlando, Florida, and it's going to be televised on the Zone. We have John Paul Rivera versus Daniel Bailey.
So I was kind of confused about these, like this MVP prospects number 14. Again, this is like Orlando has become the Zone's U.S. headquarters or something. I don't know. There's something to that, but Jake Paul trying to do some things. It ain't no flash in the pan. He's trying to be in it for the long haul.
He's a good executive. He knows what he's doing. I can't wait to see what he's cooking up. I do have the Zone, so I will be keeping my eye. I'll be on the lookout for that. So,
pay attention. That one's the 22nd.
And then we have something the next day, which is the 23rd.
So this is the big shebang. MVP Fight Night number 1. The following in the same Orlando, Florida. And these are some notable names.
Names in there, yeah. Tell us, we covered him one time. Tell us.
So we got some title implications and.
So you got Roger Gutierrez, and I've done a few Roger Gutierrez recaps. I don't know who the girls are. I don't know who Stephanie Yan is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've only seen really the ladies on the MVP card, so it's interesting to see that them break out and try to showcase the talent that they have. Which we need good quality promotions so we can have fighters that are developed and they can put on entertaining fights at the highest level.
We got we know he trains out of Puerto Rico, so there's a heavy influence here, looks like.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Like, I don't want to say where they're from Puerto Rico, but they look like very Hispanic heavy. Hispanic heavy, yeah. But salute to Jake Paul and the people at MVP. They're doing a great job, being great ambassadors for the fight, for the sport of boxing, and just putting out the fights that we want to see, especially when it comes to, accessibility too, because I don't know if this is DAZN, not Netflix. Cool. Not as accessible as Netflix, but they've done a great job with that and being also a great ambassador for women's boxing. So salute to you, Jake Paul. As we move on, we have the last thing on our docket is UFC Fight Night 257.
No, where is this located? Because from what it said,
5 a.m.
Yeah.
That looks to be. It should be somewhere over. Let me look at the card. It may be in Asia, because if we talk about Zhang Mingyang, he's a great fighter too. But Johnny Skywalker is Brazilian, but he's based out of Edinburgh, Scotland, I believe. Yeah, Aljamain,
Abu Dhabi.
Aljamain, former world champion. Aljamain, Aljo style.
Whoa, hold on a second.
New York Jamaican.
Wrong. I'm sorry.
So the
yeah.
I wouldn't be. I think it may be there. That's UFC. Either they're doing it there, they're gonna do it in Asia, maybe Brazil.
The 23rd. This one is in Shanghai, China. You're correct.
Okay.
Because at the time, I'm like, yeah, because if your marquee guy is Zhang Mingyang, that's the dead giveaway, because he's never been like the marquee guy. So he's the marquee guy because he's home. And for me, what excites me here, names that pop out: Johnny Walker, deadly. I mean, UFC veteran, Brazilian fighter, exciting, kind of crazy. He goes for the theatrical, and then one of the best fighters. Okay, one of the best two fighters the UFC have seen in a long time. For me personally, the style I like, Aljamain Sterling Aljo, is New Yorker, African American, Jamaican roots, former world champion, lost his belt to my guy O'Malley, but Aljo held that belt for a long time. Aljo has been a problem for a long time in the UFC. Seeing him fight night, doing being a fixture on Fight Night is kind of, I'm scratching my head, especially fighting a dangerous opponent in Brian Ortega. That is a great fight for a Fight Night. Because Fight Night is usually when you're cultivating your team. Like the UFC uses it as a good advertising platform for fighters that have, baby faces, fighters that have not been seen by the outside market, new fighters coming in, fighters that have just graduated from the Ultimate Fighter tournament. This, you never see any big form of what, I mean, yes, Izzy did a fight a while back under the Fight Night moniker, or the Fight Night numbers, which is not official UFC numbers, but yeah, that's a good fight. Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling is a good fight. For those people that don't know who these guys are, just do your research. These are legit legendary UFC champs in their right. So try to look for other names. Tahir Pavlev.
Oh, there's when you go into the undercards and the prelims, there's a boatload of locals on the prelims.
Yeah, that's how you fill the seats out. Tell the locals, yeah, I'll put you on. You bring 30 people. I'll put you on I'll give you UFC trunks. I'll give you some UFC paraphernalia. I'll give you some UFC cups. Just bring 30 people in here, and I'll put you on the fight. Yeah, that's how you do it. No, I'm just playing. But salute to all the people that are gonna be traveling over there to China, and the people participating, people watching. I'll probably catch highlights. I am not waking up at 5 a.m. to watch a Fight Night 257. If it's the big near one with the big names, yes, but I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to catch that. But I'll watch it. Fellas, just like that, man, we've just knocked out another full episode. Episode 66 of Who's Fighting? Kam Gee, LT. Hey, who's fighting? Just like that, we out. Peace, everybody.
You gotta make sure it's strapping in the stream.
It's supposed to be ending. There we go. Now I'm ending it.